Russia is getting closer and closer to civil war. The army is growing stronger and is expressing its dissatisfaction with the Kremlin authorities and Putin personally more and more openly. The tension among the occupying troops can already be compared to 1917 during the First World War. Back then, the Tsar clung to his throne until the end and kept the war going until soldiers finally exploded. Today, symptoms of exhaustion and sickness are present too. Demoralization is obvious.
I'm recording this video right now, and it really seems like it might be my last because things here are just completely messed up. It's incredibly grim, and what is happening is just insane. Behind me, there are these massive piles of corpses. Everyone is just being killed, and the higher-ups are pushing us forward. I don't know what's going to happen next or what to do from here, because it's simply impossible to get through, just impossible.
But even more dangerous for Putin than a soldier's mutiny is a conspiracy among the military and political leadership of the unfinished country. It would seem that Prigozhin's uprising was long ago suppressed and forgotten. However, when it seems that way, it's time to cross yourself. And in the case of the Kremlin's Führer, it's time to start praying. Prigozhin is gone, but his cause remains. It lives on within the Russian elites. And the proof of this is the assassination attempt on General Alexeyev, the first deputy chief of the main directorate of the General Staff of the Russian Armed Forces.
The army has been sold out. The enemies are inside, sitting in offices, giving up addresses, telling who needs to be killed, when they need to be killed, and why. Negotiations had just taken place. Everyone seemed to be smiling. The boss was happy. But then a week later, they shoot the deputy. I know Vladimir Stepanovich personally.
Naturally, the FSB immediately discovered a Ukrainian connection. They identified a 65-year-old longtime native of the Ternopil region as the killer, who immediately confessed to the assassination attempt and claimed to be an SBU agent.
In August of 2025, I was officially recruited by SBU officers and then sent directly to the city of Moscow for my assignment. I was tasked with conducting further surveillance on specific targets and individuals whose details were sent directly to my phone. For the work I performed, I received a regular payment of $2,000 every month. Then, in December, I was given a specific order to eliminate a man named General Alexev from the GRU.
All of this looks, to put it mildly, strange. In the best traditions of FSB theatrical productions, an ordinary old man was recruited in western Ukraine in 25. He went through basic training and was sent to the capital of an enemy state to eliminate a GRU general. How do you like that, Jason Bourne? He helped the Ternopil John Wick on his impossible mission. Another old man from Russia, Sam Vasin. Just think about it. The SBU and GUR are planning to eliminate one of Russia's top generals, the head of intelligence, and they send 2 pensioners on the mission.
Hello. Let's go rob a museum.
Most importantly, we all know how Ukrainian special services usually operate. Effectively and with visual proof.
All of this, of course, reeks of nonsense. There were several different theories, which even included the possible Russian connection. And inside there, in that cesspool, in that snake pit, there are plenty of motives for committing these crimes, both out of revenge and to clear out personnel. And God only knows what else. That's all I know about it. No more than you do. But of course, the idea of getting a text message asking you to eliminate a GRU general is just wonderful. I like that.
Moreover, the GUR and SBU always acknowledge such operations. That's how it was before with all the eliminated Russian generals. But here, Ukraine denies any involvement in the attempt on Alexeyev's life. This very assassination attempt actually harms Kyiv, because at that exact moment, the Ukrainian delegation is holding negotiations with Alexeyev's direct superior in Abu Dhabi.
You know, there's another suspicious detail right now as well. There's such a picturesque scene there. The discovery of his pistol with a silencer, the discovery of, well, you know, you could practically put it up for sale at an exhibition, a killer's bag, as they call it, with gloves, you know, with gear. So many videos showing him, such detailed documentation. It seems to me that we've never seen documentation this detailed before.
Well, yes. Well, as I said, those who were following, those who are in the know, we remember well the footage after the capture of Tortost.
There is no evidence of Ukraine's involvement except for the words of the arrested old men bandits. So the question arises, if non-Ukrainian forces attempted to assassinate Alexev, then who was it?
From that moment on, my friend got in trouble.
A number of Western intelligence officials suggest that the wounded general was the victim of internal squabbles. An investigative journalist also speaks about this, Hristo Grozev. According to his information, one of the killers, that same grandfather number 2, is
Now take a deep breath.
an active FSB officer. More precisely, he works at an FSB-affiliated company that manufactures surveillance equipment. According to Grozev, this man, Vasin, graduated from the Russian Military Command and Communications Academy and worked as the chief expert at the FSB-established Scientific and Technical Center, Atlas.
As I was just mentioning earlier, the information that one of the people who has been named as being involved in this attempted murder either appears to be highly illogical and unlikely for the Ukrainians to have chosen, or the Ukrainians very cleverly picked precisely that kind of individual, someone directly connected to the FSB and a veteran of combat operations. I can't say definitively who is behind this. I can say who is not behind this. I am almost 100% sure that it could not have been the Ukrainian military intelligence, the GUR, for one simple reason. There is still an informal, unwritten agreement between the Russian and Ukrainian special services that they cannot carry out so-called horizontal collegial liquidations.
Did the Kremlin have a motive to eliminate Alexeyev? Because this general, believe it or not, for many years oversaw the activities of the Wagner PMC. And during the March for Justice on Moscow, he openly supported Prigozhin. When the bold rebel seized Rostov and demanded that Shoigu and Gerasimov be handed over to him, Alexeyev replied, "Take them."
We came here. Our goal is to secure the chief of the general staff. Here is the information. We will not proceed until they have arrived.
We will win.
Naturally, Putin couldn't sleep peacefully with a not-so-loyal intelligence general so close by. Although Alexeyev is a decorated war criminal, but even his monstrous achievements didn't help. Alexeyev was engaged specifically in terrorist activities. For example, the European Union named him responsible for transporting Novichok to the British city of Salisbury. That's where Russian hitmen tried to poison the defected double agent Skripal, but their stupidity got them caught at the spire.
There is a magnificent historic cathedral located right there. The Salisbury Cathedral. Oh, what an idiot.
Alexeyev took an active part in the aggression against Ukraine. According to the collaborator Oleg Tsarev, the general participated in many so-called notable operations. Alexeyev was remembered first and foremost for his treachery and cruelty. Denis Prokopenko, commander of the 1st Corps of the National Guard of Ukraine Azov, who led the Ukrainian garrison during the Battle of Mariupol in 2022, said that it was Alexeyev who conducted negotiations with the Ukrainian defenders and promised that the Russians would comply with the Geneva Convention in their treatment of prisoners of war. Alexeyev gave his word as an officer that the defenders of Mariupol would be guaranteed proper conditions in captivity. In response, the Ukrainian fighters showed humanity and handed over to Alexeyev 3 Russian prisoners of war who had been given medical assistance. But in the Russian army, an officer's word is worth less than a torn footcloth. The Ukrainian defenders were treated with particular cruelty while in captivity. Regular torture, lack of medical care, and starvation. And this wounded ghoul is also responsible for organizing strikes on civilian targets in Ukraine. For his crimes, Alexeyev would have eventually attracted special attention from the Ukrainian intelligence services. But apparently the Kremlin beat them to it. It just so happens that because of his paranoia, Putin always eliminates his own thugs. The Wagner leadership is buried underground. Strelkov is in prison. Disgraced generals like Popov are also behind bars. Lesser officers and Z activists are simply quietly wiped out at the front. I always wonder,
How does Shoigu sleep at night? So tell me, Seryoga, how do you, after putting together such a team of professional thieves, how do you sleep, eat, drink, go for walks, seeing what losses we have, that we have no equipment? You sold out your homeland for a pittance, for pennies, and now you're getting awards from foreign organizations. That's how we live, guys. Let's not pretend that nothing is happening and that you don't know anything. We couldn't protect the combat general whom we love and respect.
all this backstabbing and scheming shows that the Kremlin elite are hysterical, frantically searching for conspirators everywhere. Maybe 1937 has come to Moscow, and Alexeyev is far from the first general to be taken out by his own people.
But people are still for Putin right now.
No. Actually, I do not believe that is the case at all. The staggering and overwhelming volume of information leaks happening at every single level right now is completely unprecedented. This means that the vast majority of the internal security forces are not actually for Putin, and they only say otherwise when they are forced to do so officially. Unlike ordinary people, these officials know the real situation on the ground, unlike the paid actors who support Putin, for example. They know the real reasons for this conflict, or more accurately, the total lack thereof. They know that there is no Nazism in Ukraine.
Of course, there's also a theory that the Russians shot at the GRU general in order to disrupt peace negotiations. Supposedly, the Ukrainians crossed the red line, and now there's no point in talking to them anymore. Lavrov even managed to crawl out of his stall to make a statement.
This heinous and calculated terrorist act has once again clearly confirmed the aggressive intentions of the Zelensky administration. These actions are part of a series of deliberate and systematic provocations, which in turn are specifically aimed at undermining and completely disrupting the entire peaceful negotiation process.
A strong statement. Of course, I won't be verifying it.
But this seems more like a clumsy attempt to fit the facts, or like trying to stretch an owl over a globe. Naturally, the Kremlin will never admit that it tried to eliminate its own general. That's why there's always an excuse. Evil Ukrainians. And the fact that they can also freeze out peace talks is an additional pleasant bonus. Everything indicates that Moscow is on the verge of a major internal explosion. It's no surprise that the screws keep getting tightened. Blocking Telegram and criminal liability for likes on the internet is just the beginning. The harassment of comedian Saburov doesn't look accidental either. He seemed to be absolutely loyal, yet the Kremlin throws the artist, who even gave a Nazi salute, out and bans him for 50 years despite his help for the occupying forces.
My name is Murlan Saburov. Today I am in Istra. Today we're doing a good, noble deed. We're helping the fighters of the Baghdad Legion in Istra under the leadership of hero of Russia, Alexander Kuznetsov. God willing, the guys will come back healthy and victorious.
This guy is so dumb. Apparently, Saburov has patrons in the wrong Kremlin camp. His example clearly shows the split among the elites. Part of the propaganda machine fiercely attacked Saburov, while another part just as fiercely rushed to defend him. And
In this war, any unit, any ally, especially one as big, strong, and influential as Ruslan Saburov, would certainly be a valuable and important asset to anyone involved. That's how it seems to me. So when some media scumbag, there's really no other word for it, starts throwing accusations, it's unclear where they even got this from. According to some so-called sources, Saburov supposedly said he doesn't know Russian and demanded a translator. But that's just vile. Seriously, that's just disgusting. Why are you writing this? I mean, what, did someone force you to do it? No, I'm sure that's not the case. You're doing this completely voluntarily, just for fun.
in fact, the propagandists are speaking out against the authorities' decision. Could this be seen as a clear sign of the beginning of the collapse of the Putin regime? I'd like to remind you that this video is created for entertainment purposes and contains elements of satire and irony. All facts and events are presented in a hyperbolized or exaggerated manner to convey a comedic or dramatic effect. We have absolutely no intention to mislead, but rather we intend to emphasize humor. Please view all of this content with a smile.